David Schultz has beaten many people with a whole shot, with a come from behind, with better power, with more speed. Any way you want to name it, Dave Schultz has beaten them all this year. A magnificent performance for the Sunoco entry at a Grey Cope shop. That's his wife leaning over there. She goes with him on all the race tours, gives him a lot of encouragement. His biggest race fan pats him on the back and sends him into battle against number 9 qualifier Paul Gast, who beat Hector Arana in the opening stanza.
Paul Gast has got to be saying, please, Mr. Schultz, let me win just one. Just this time I won't ask again. Yeah, right. Look at this. Schultz is long gone. Wow. It never ends. Schultz the winner with a 7.60. Did you say a 60 this round for Schultz?
Paul Gast was perfect on the starting line. A 4:00 reaction time. You think you deserve a better fate than getting hammered at the other end of the racetrack. Gast 7.87, no match for that 7.60. You can try to keep up with Dave Schultz. Well, maybe not on the track, but by calling the Castrol GTX NHRA Now action line. Call 1-900-468-NHRA.
Not much of a surprise here. Low of the round at 7.60.
Yeah, we bogged it really bad. I don't know, we just made a little bit of change to try for that round. We felt like it'd be the round to make a change on. And I bogged it real bad. We need to go back to our original clutch combination. I want to run 50s all during eliminations.
I'm sorry, did you see a bog?
That looks like a bog out there, doesn't it?
Bernard and Myers, one half of the semifinals here at the Indy U.S. Nationals. It'll be Schultz and Smith on the other side of the ladder.
In the pit area, John Smith with Pro Stock car driver Kurt Johnson. Kurt saying, my car went 6.98, you went 7.68. Let me see if we do this and carry the one. Oh, I'm a lot quicker than you are. Na, 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 na.
Back in a moment on the Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge.
It's the semifinals of the Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge. It's the Star Racing team. Captain of the red team, John Myers. Farlane, captain of the blue team, Jim Bernard, former U.S. Nationals champ. Running under the lights here at Indianapolis Raceway Park, it will be bragging rights in the Star Racing camp. Winner gets to take on the winner of the Schultz-Smith matchup in the finals.
Bragging rights indeed. You know, there's been a little controversy about these two guys running this year. That is, whenever they face each other, maybe Jim Bernard will lay down a little bit. There's George Bryce, the team owner. You know, because Jim really doesn't have a shot at the Winston Championship while John does, but that has not happened. In fact, these guys get to pick their own tune-up for the bike. They're going to go as fast and as hard as they can every time.
Yep, last race right here on the Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge, Brainerd, Minnesota. It was the same two in the semifinal matchup. It was Bernard punching out John Myers. Like to make it 2 in a row.
We'll know in just a moment as they edge up to the line and wait for the green. Yeah, look at that. Bernard is going to win. John Myers made a great run at the end to try to catch Bernard. Wasn't enough. A 7.69 at 171 for the blue bike.
Myers, a quicker 7.63, was tattooed on the starting line. Watch it. Far side of the racetrack. Captain of the blue team out of the starting box first, and he never looked back. John Myers gave it that old college try at the top end, just ran up a little bit short. We have a winner. It is Jim Bernard in the finals of the 40th U.S. Nationals. Check it out at the far end of the racetrack. Almost a dead heat. Oh, baby. Alan?
Jim, just like in Minnesota, you needed to do it with your driving, and you did.
I knew I was going to have to stand on it against John. The bike's been running pretty even all day, and I just did the best I could. The track's really loose. I think there's a lot of moisture in the track, and 4th and 5th gear, the bike was all over the place. I nearly crossed the center line, but just hung on to it and barely pulled it out.
As teammates, you seem to bring out the best in each other.
Yeah, he's a really good driver, and I know it. I'm going to have to do my best if I'm going to beat him, and that was all I could do right there.
Well, here's your matchup on the other side of that ladder. Dave Schultz, a fine Teutonic individual, will be taking on a fellow with, well, upper Midwest Norwegian roots, John Smith.
There are a lot of Teutonics living in that upper Midwest area, by the way. If you go out there, you can check it out. Dave Schultz, virtually unbeaten, untied, and unscored upon this year, except for that one little race. Other than that, it has been as perfect a year as you're going to see in any professional racing class. The Torco MPZ machine out of the Anoka Ramsey shop just outside of Minneapolis, a great running machine. knows that he needs to be first off the line if he wants to be first at the finish line. If Dave Schultz moves first out of the starting gate, it is big trouble for John Smith.
And before you place your bets, keep in mind that John Smith has won one national event in his career. Dave Schultz has probably lost that many in his career and no more. Wow! Yo! Smith is out on Schultz! But, as the story goes, it's the same old ending. 7:59. Killer run for Schultz, 172 miles an hour.
Going into the finals, Dave Schultz with lane choice. He is about a tenth of a second quicker than Jim Bernard. Not good for the Star Racing camp as they try to stop that runaway freight train that is David Schultz.
You know, Dave, by looking at the numbers on the racetrack, that was a lot closer than it should have been. He left on you.
Yeah, he left on me a lot. I knew this is nighttime, and I knew these guys out here, you know, they were going to be shooting for me. I had a 412 last time, and I didn't want the same thing to happen in the dash, so I tried to back it off a little bit. I was trying for like a 450 light. I don't know, it may have been a 470, but I'll know what to do now for the final. I just felt like my last light was too tight, so I backed it off and just let Greg drive around him.
Greg, meaning Greg Cope, is engine builder, and that's Jim Bernard. Can he stop them? We are back on the Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge, and we are getting ready for the final round of Pro Stock Bike, the Clash of the Titans.
Here's the King Titan, David Schultz. This year, 6 national event wins in 7 final round appearances, 32 career victories. National Pro Stock Motorcycle ET record holder at 754, and the all-conquering guy. And what's Jim Bernard got to be thinking about right now? He's faced Schultz before, he's beaten him before, but not in 1994 when Dave has just run roughshod through the class.
Well, Jim comes with his own credentials. I mean, he's a sharp dresser, a swell dancer, and he does look both ways before crossing the street.
Went to a final round right here on the Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge, Brainerd, Minnesota. A couple of weekends ago, had the best seat in the house to watch David Schultz win his 6th race of the year.
They're going to get a good shot of how they line these bikes up at the starting line. It's critical that they be very straight so that when they actually get into the race, they don't have to correct their steering too much. That costs them time.
You'll see a different approach to riding. Schultz almost sits upright on his Sunoco scooter. On the far side, Jim Bernard leans a lot more forward, more conventional riding style for the Star bike.
Yes, indeedy! Dave Schultz wins the 1994 U.S. Nationals with a 762-171, but it was pretty close.
He runs 762 to Bernard 771. You heard Schultz talk about starting line, moved it back to where he was. He had a 4-1 reaction time, only 100th away from being perfect. That is unbelievable. Bernard gave him his best shot, wobbled a little bit in 4th gear. At the end, it's 3, 4, make it 5 bike lengths and going away. Alan?
Just another beautiful day in Indy.
Yeah, Indy's my favorite race. I wanted to win this race really bad. I was really disappointed after losing the Wax Shop Dash, and we just focused in, which is what we've done several times, and decided, okay, now let's go back to the business of winning Indy. Greg and I went and regrouped. I don't know what I ran that time. Any idea?
67.
67. It was really slippery top of 1st gear, but evidently it was better than Bernard.
Evidently. Now this is for amusement only. If you're betting on who the Winston champ will be, take Dave Schultz. Give the points. Myers, Bernard, Smith, Nyberg, all running for number 2.
And everybody's leaving. So long, everybody. Be careful driving. Look out for Bob. He'll be leaving in a few minutes. You know how he drives. The Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge, sponsored by Suzuki and your local Suzuki motorcycle and ATV dealer. Suzuki, the ride you've been waiting for. The Suzuki Pro Bike Challenge is a presentation of Diamond P Sports in association with ESPN.